This is the 6th workshop that we have conducted for emerging artists that introduce them to the grant writing process, to how you plan an artistic project and how you get funded, how you do a budget, how you attract an audience, how you secure matching funds. And we've literally forced people through a process that takes 14 hours, and then at the end of that, the participants have written a complete proposal that they can use and have used to raise money from other funding sources. As a result of these workshops, the participants raised an additional $40,000, and this year we anticipate that that number will be much higher. So thank you very much.
I think it's actually a really good activity for the Queer Cultural Center to be undertaking because I think for a couple of reasons. Number one is that it's a service to the artists in the queer community here in the Bay Area to be provided a chance to learn about arts project management, to learn about budgeting for the projects, to learn about grant writing for the projects. So it's a real service that the Queer Cultural Center can extend to the community it's supposed to serve. So in that sense, it really makes sense. By doing this, they are actually also feeding into their own programming. These are the artists who will be headlining next year's, the 2012 National Queer Arts Festival, and so it's creating a pipeline for artists to bring their creative selves to the festival, but also to professionalize themselves in the process. And so it just, it bodes well for the programming, the public programming that they're doing, to know who's coming around the bend, who has the interesting ideas, who has the concepts that are going to make for an exciting festival next year. To know that so well ahead of time, I think puts the Queer Cultural Center in a really good position to kind of be, in control of the destiny of their own programming. So that feels like a real plus to me as well. I was very much struck by the kind of diversity of the participants in the workshop, both across sexualities, which is important when you're dealing with the queer community, to be dealing with transgender, to be dealing with gay, lesbian, bisexual, to be dealing with that full range of sexual expression that we find in our community. So that part of it was a real plus as well. There was a great diversity of disciplines that people were wanting to work in. Seems to be a lot of interest in media arts, so like film and stuff, but we were also seeing visual arts, we were seeing plenty of literary arts, we were seeing performing arts, so we had a nice full array of disciplines being represented and in the pipeline for next year's program.
I'm KB and this is Celest, and together we are Queer Rebel Productions, San Francisco-based queer artist of color production company. We came through the QCC program, the workshop, and it was really helpful, to walk into a room full of queer artists trying to move forward and to get the kind of support we got from QCC. It was incredible. It's really just helped us to grow as a baby company to become a production company. We really didn't have the tools before QCC, and having them step in has been amazing.
Actually getting to sit down one-on-one with the grants director and review what we had written and see if it was a viable application was really, really valuable. And I think also being able to get peer support, we all gave feedback to each other. I think that also the review process of having an arts administrator actually review and give feedback about our proposal while we listened and did not give feedback was one of the most helpful components of the workshop.
It was a learning experience and yeah, really helpful.
My name is Caitlan Sweet. I am with Dark Star. I've curated shows for the National Queer Art Fest and other locations, and I'm also a visual artist. The workshop process itself, I think it's interesting because you get to meet other people who are applying to the fest and network, but it also being like a self-taught curator and organizer and being outside of the grant writing process, it really gives you an inside view of like how these decisions are made and like what to include and what not to include. So definitely it feels like getting skills that I'll use in the future for projects. I feel like what I think is most helpful for me being a part of the fest and the QCC is that once again, like the structure and the deadlines that happen, which makes you like being like, oh, you have to select your artists by February because your publicity is due, da 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 da, and that you get like a framework that works, and in that framework you get skills and being like, oh, this is how you write a press release, this is how you write a 50-word bio, this is how you do this and this and this and this, which is a lot of stuff that is like, that like, you know, prior to doing it in like the correct way, I had no idea how to do it.